I know what you're thinking. What in the gosh darn is Bits and Bombs? Bits and Bombs is a podcast deep diving into what it takes to do stand-up from a different comedian every episode. Follow new open micer Peter Doms in his journey to be an okay comic.
All right, so...
Go.
What?
Yeah, to say Between Two Rangers.
Between Two Rangers. This is a spin-off podcast.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, so Rachael Hornbuckle.
Yes.
Also, stage name Huckleberry, is that a...
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so do you know that story?
No, I don't.
Okay. This is very like looking into each other's eyes. It's like looking at myself.
The mirror.
You're stunning. Yeah. So Shane Hunter once said my name, introduced me as Rachael Huckleberry, and I don't know if it's because he forgot or he was, I don't know. And like everyone lost it at it, and now it's just gone through the line and people keep introducing me as Huckleberry, which I'm a nurse, so I use my same name everywhere, obviously, but I'm like, maybe, I don't know if I should do that. And I thought last week, I was like, maybe I should just change it to Huckleberry. But is that ridiculous? Like, Rachael Huckleberry.
What's your opinion on like stage names? Because that'd make it into like a stage, like, because Huckleberry is like obviously not a real last name. Or it could be.
But is Hornbuckle like that's, you know.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
True. Fuck it. Might as well do what you want at this
We're
stage.
already in the hole. Let's just keep going. Heaps of people have real jobs that you couldn't, you know. And then like some girls, like some people look them up on Facebook and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if that happens to guys as well, but I assume so.
Yeah, I think like especially like teachers and stuff that happens to.
Yeah, so
and nurses. I don't know. I've always been like super like, this is what you get with my social media, posting about like Garfield and random shit. So I don't really care what people see, but I don't know. Like I've always worked in retail and stuff. So
No, don't you do some health work stuff, don't you?
No.
Oh, okay, I made that up.
Yeah, you made that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe I will go by Huckleberry because it is funny.
Yeah, it's very funny.
Yeah.
So, when did you start? When was your first gig?
My first ever gig was, I used to live in London, and I went and saw a comedy show, and I was watching it, and I was like, this isn't great. Looking back, it was an open mic. So
You're like, why did I spend all this money?
Yeah, I was at a gala and I was like, they're not that good. But no, I was at an open mic and I was like, I reckon I could do this. And then, this is embarrassing, but the first ever gig was a pay to play. So you actually paid. Yeah. I know. So you paid like £5 and you got up on stage, and I remember I was so nervous. I was so nervous that my voice dropped. Like, have you ever had that where your voice drops?
No, but I've started to get like, recently I was losing my breath on stage.
Oh yeah, you know when you run up on stage and you're like,
and you're just
why is that hard? Like, oh my God. And then you're like, do I address it that I cannot breathe right now?
Yeah.
So that was my first time. My voice dropped. I was shaking. There was this incredible drag queen who was like, introduced me, and she was so lovely. And I got laughs. For how nervous I was, I got laughs. So I was like, maybe I could do this. And then I just kind of did lots of little gigs around London. And then like life changed and I came back to Brisbane, and I was going to Good Chat a lot. Just to see shows, like, because obviously we like comedy. And then Jake was like, hey, do you want to get up on stage? And I was, again, so nervous. And I did well. There's a video clip on my Instagram of that set, and a girl spits her drink out like at one of my jokes and like has to leave the room, and then she comes back in, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm okay. So yeah. And then I never thought that comedy was something that you did. I know that sounds really ridiculous, but I thought it was like a one and you're done, and then you move on with your life. And that's so silly because there's like actual profession, that's their job. And then I just kept kind of getting gigs. So I was like, I guess I'll stay at this. Like,
yeah. That being said, though, there's a lot of people I've seen like come through the scene where it is like a one and done, or they do a couple and then just never do it again. They're like, oh, I did the thing, because it can be like a bucket list thing, obviously.
And good on them. Like, get out while you can.
Yeah, because they're like, so like they're doing something that a lot of people aren't even going to like. The amount of people that are like, I could never do that or whatever. So even to just do it a few gigs, never do it again is still like pretty cool.
Yeah, that's, I would. So I come back and I studied in the past 2 years, so I had to stop and then come back and stop and come back. And like, so yeah, I don't know where I was going with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when did you live in London? When was that first gig?
I think I was 27. So I'm 33 now. But I didn't gig like how I gig now. It was like once every few weeks or months or something like that. Yeah.
So you were doing a few gigs like in London for like just every now and again?
Yeah. And then I was, wasn't just open mic stuff. Yeah. Nothing serious, obviously. But it's huge over there. It's obviously because they support the arts. And then I came back and I just didn't think about doing it again. And then Jake hit me up and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, really? So you came back here and you're just like, oh, I'm not going to do it. Like, you just weren't interested in doing it anymore?
No, I was interested. I just like had a lot of other things going on in my life. And then I must have said something to Jake or something. And then he was like, hey, do you want to get up on stage? And of course, being a female, like you need more females on a lineup. So I was like, I'll give it a go. And then just kept going. Yeah.
Yeah. What was that like one of their open, or was that like a Brat Pack thing?
No,
or?
that was like a Wednesday.
A Wednesday?
I'm pretty certain. Yeah, it was just a Wednesday. And this was about 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened as well. So everything kind of went back and forth and whatnot. So, yeah.
Yeah. And how long because I feel like everyone has their story of like they tried comedy out a little bit and then kind of had like a bit of a gap before doing it consistently. Like how long do you when someone asks how long have you been doing comedy, like what's the answer that you get usually?
That's a good question because it's hard because I don't want to be like, well, I've been doing it since I was 27 because I haven't really. And then I guess I started to ramp up at the start of 2022, but I was finishing my studies, so I had to take like 6 months off because I just couldn't do both. And then even this year getting back into it, my answer is probably 3 years.
Yeah
But I don't know, is that the right answer? What do you base it off?
I don't know. I feel
what do you say?
So for me, like back in mid 2021 is when I started. But that was in Mackay where like that whole started like July. Yeah. And for the rest of that year, I had like 5 gigs. So then like when I moved to Brisbane is when I started doing stuff. And that was like April last year. So I just say I've been doing it for a year and a bit. Because I feel like, I don't know, like I did it, but like once I started doing it consistently and like eating shit at open mics and stuff is where it actually felt like I was doing it.
Yeah. What are you based off when you start getting paid? Like, or I guess people, when they ask that, they're just trying to gauge how long you've been eating shit. Which is like constantly. But yeah, I don't think it really matters.
Yeah.
Or maybe it does. Sometimes I watch comedians that I love and I'm like, fuck, why aren't I that good? And then I'm like, they've been doing it for 10 years.
Yeah.
Like consistently 10 years. Like, of course they're going to be amazing. Like, if they're not, they shouldn't, they're in the wrong career.
At that stage.
Yeah. Be like a doctor killing people. You'd be like, you shouldn't be doing this. Like, yeah. That's the answer.
Cool. So the Good Chat gig. So you come back to Brisbane and then start doing Good Chat gigs. What was the progression from there?
And then I remember at the time, I kind of started with a group of girls, and I never asked for gigs, but I think they did, but I could be wrong. I don't know, like from what I can remember. So I think I was gigging maybe like once every 6 weeks, and then it just slowly started to ramp up a little bit more. And then COVID came through, and then I think Jake passed my name on to Sit Down, and then Sit Down booked me more, and then just kept going from there. Yeah.
So once every 6 weeks, you weren't really looking for gigs. You were just like, if you got hit up for it, you did it kind of thing.
I was still in that headspace of like, no, this is just fun. Like, you know, to be honest, I didn't really take it seriously, and I kind of wish I did because I didn't realize you could, which is dumb. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's because when I moved here, I was like, you were like so helpful with like trying to get me gigs and stuff too. And that was probably because you, like, I think I was like, oh yeah, I'm doing one or so a week. But you said to me, like, you're the only person that backs yourself, so you need to like be chasing the gigs.
Yeah. But I still don't do that. But yes, that is very true. Yeah, because no one's like, people don't know you unless you ask, and people aren't going to say anything unless you ask. But yeah, I do give great advice, but I don't take it. I do have a lot of gigs next week, so we'll see how that goes.
So so then started picking up, and then have you done any shows like yourself, like split shows or like?
So I did a show with Michael Cho.
Yeah.
Oh, you were there.
I was there actually. Yeah.
What is it?
The
show time at the Hornbuckle
Theatre or something.
Theatre. Yeah, at the Hornbuckle Theatre or something like that. But this was also, that was what, October last year?
September.
September?
Yeah, September.
That was mid all of my exams in my final semester. So I couldn't dedicate any time to it. And it was really stupid. I shouldn't have done it. I still had fun. It was awesome. And I was glad that I did it, but I wasn't committed to it. Like, and I should have been, but I just had to finish my studies. Like I was, Yeah. I was doing my masters. I was fucked.
In terms of like being committed to it, what you seem to like have, like, you did a great set and everything. Like, do you mean like, did you want a bit more material in that, or? I
think I wish I advertised more out of it, because I think if there was a bigger crowd, it would have been a hotter show. But I just didn't. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. You kind of have this thing where you're like, who would want to see me do stand-up? And then it's like heaps of people if they knew, like, but I never told anyone. And it's like, I should have really been like, are you coming? Like, and I didn't really tell anyone. Yeah. So we both didn't. I think we're both don't really advertise, and it's like, you have to. The same thing, you got to back yourself. Yeah. And there's heaps of people that will back themselves on no merit. So like, what's stopping you? You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's a mind fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you think the no advertising thing is like also maybe being like, oh, it's not cool to have it, like, or like being a bit cynical about the advertising and promoting part?
No, because it is cool. Like you've
cool.
made something and you want to share it with the people in your life. And like, I could have done that. I should have invited more people and I just didn't. Like, I would do it very differently this time. But you got to learn from that.
Yeah, because I just feel silly whenever, like, especially like having a podcast. Like, I'm just like, my whole feed is just me trying to be like, hey, listen to this thing or whatever. So I kind of, that's my perspective on like self-promotion and stuff sometimes.
But I guess that's just, I assume, being an artist, like, you're never going to like the shit you put out. Like, do you know what I mean? That's just how it is. And if you just make stuff, like, there's this really good quote from I'll send it to you later, from the BoJack Horseman guy. You know the guy who wrote that?
No.
Oh, it's really, really good. And he made that series, and then he made another series. And the BoJack Horseman, the TV show, it's on Netflix. It went really well. And then his second series like flopped. And then he posts this huge like Twitter feed of like, you know, you put everything into it, you work really hard. Hold on, it sounds like I'm trying to relate to someone who's on Netflix, doesn't it? I'm not at all. I'm just saying, you do everything you can and just sometimes it doesn't work out. And where was I going with this? Hold on, I've totally backtracked with self-promotion. Just make it and people will come, was the point of that long-winded thing. Like, just have fun. And if you enjoy doing this, what more is there? Like, maybe it'll work out, maybe it won't. Who knows? What else are you going to do? You know?
And I think with like a lot of like the internet, like grind culture and stuff, we get so fixated on like the end product. Like, oh, the followers, like, 100%. Let's just focus on having fun with what we're doing right now.
And that's like when I was doing like, obviously when I'm doing comedy, I kind of got into that mentality of like, I've got to be this, I've got to be that. And it took away, that's never why I did it. Like, I was like, I just like saying dumb shit on stage. Yeah. Like, I like just dumb things. And when you take, like, it got to a point, like, when I started competing, which we all do, like, I didn't have fun anymore. And I was like, what's the point? And heaps of people who are in comedy, well, not heaps of people, but some people, like, one person was like, I don't know if I should keep doing this. And I'm like, well, are you having fun? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, then keep doing it. Who cares? Like, it's like any hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's even back to like the doing... even if you've been doing comedy for 10 years and haven't got anywhere with it, if you're having fun, it's still like a cool hobby to have.
Yeah. So, who cares? Like, it's how you connect with people, you make friendships. Like, so much other stuff, I'm sure you can relate, so much other stuff has come out of comedy that you didn't even think.
Yeah.
Just another trial in life. Like, you can't overthink this shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I feel very, like, a mantra. Like, sorry. I don't know. Keep going.
Yeah. So, what comedians like inspired you to get into comedy?
I used to always watch, like, I don't know what it's called, but you know how they did it every year on the Melbourne, what was it? Like the
gala?
Oxfam. Was that the thing? Yeah. The gala though.
Yeah.
I'd watch that every year and I was always like, man, they're so cool, but I never really thought about it. Mm-hmm. And then who inspires me? There's so many. Like Australian? I don't know. Who do you... Hold on. You tell me some of yours.
All right. So some mine is like... It's always... I think like it started off with like a lot of people like Hannibal Buress and like those type of like American comedians. But then like... I think since start doing comedy is when I actually started paying attention to the Australian stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
So people like Aaron Chen and things like that are like what I'm kind of into.
So good. Straight off the top of my head, Beth Sterling, she's American.
Yeah.
But she has a special, like, Call Me Daddy, I think it's called. It's so good. Mm-hmm. I want to say female comedians, but...
You can, and that's okay.
This is a safe place.
Yeah.
Mel Buttle, fucking incredible. Australian comedian. Who else? Emma... I don't know. Zamet. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I nearly said her other last name. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Anytime it depends. We get heaps of people come to Brisbane, so we're super lucky. We get to see heaps of really good comedians that come over from to Brisbane. Who else? I don't know.
And yeah, on the topic of like even just watching the galas, you'd probably have performed with a lot of those people that you would have been watching on TV a few years ago as well.
Yeah. Wait, like who?
Huh?
Like who?
I don't know. I just mean there's like a lot of those people kind of come through,
yeah, that's true.
Like Brett Blake and things like that. They do galas.
That is true. That's still.
I wasn't being like, oh.
I was like, I think you think I'm better than what I actually am. Like, I don't think so, dude. Like, yeah, Hannah Gatsby. Like, no, you're right. Like Luke Heggie.
I just want you to straight up like name them.
Yeah.
Call me.
Yeah. Actually, you're correct, and here they are. No, I remember when I got asked to be on like and this is so lame, but. To me, it meant a lot. Luke Heggie lineup. Mm-hmm. I fucking love. Have you seen? You've obviously.
Yeah. I saw a show recently.
So good. And I lost my mind, and then I told all my friends like, I'm so lame, but I don't care. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna line up for Luke Heggie, and people were like, who's that? And I was like, oh fucking like, no one. How do you not? He's on ABC. Like, yeah, but yeah. I start a lot of stories and I don't know how to finish them. So keep going.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, comedy and stuff.
I thought this podcast was about bits and bombs. So we talk about.
Yeah. Well, we can go into the bombs.
Yeah. Is that what you do?
Sometimes I think when I first started the podcast, I was like, I'm going to mention bombs all the time.
Yeah.
But kind of just naturally comes up or like. Yeah. So do you have any crazy bomb stories then?
Not crazy, but one gig. So you know the Based boys on the Gold Coast?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I first started, this was like straight after Brat Pack. Mm-hmm. Oh, no, not Brat Pack. Good Chat. When I started that first show, I asked the guys that run that for a gig, and they gave me a gig at Runaway Bay. Mm-hmm. And have you played there?
No. No, I've never done a bass gig actually.
What? Why?
The
drive?
Yeah,
Do you drive?
No.
What?
I can catch... No, I'm a carless piece of shit, yeah.
Do you have a license?
No.
What?
I feel like we've had this conversation before and you'd be like, you need that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to drive.
Yeah.
Otherwise, how you get anywhere? Yeah, so I asked for a gig at Runaway Bay and oh my god, I ate shit. Like no one laughed for 5 minutes straight. And it was like after a lockdown, I think. So it was like my first one for a while. And yeah, no one laughed for 5 minutes. And then I went up to the guy who runs the room and apologized because I was like, I was so embarrassed. I was like, I like begged you for this gig. I came here. I ate shit. I'm so sorry. You put your trust in me and I fucked it. And then I drove home because it's like a 50-minute drive, just being like, oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially you said it was like straight after the Wednesday.
Yeah, yeah.
So you would have been like, I think though, like now if you did that, you'd probably be like, that was funny that happened, right? Like you'd have a better perspective.
Yeah. It was
sometimes
funny.
like it's either like, I feel like those bombs are better than getting like a
half bomb.
like a like a kind of like people like ha.
Yeah.
I'd rather it just go like awful, so at least you can be like, that was fucking hilarious.
Yeah. And then I spoke to the guy who runs the show, and I said, I always think that was my worst ever. And he was like, Rachel, once I bombed for 26 minutes straight. Yeah. And he was like, and I was only meant to do 20 minutes. Like, why did you keep going? I would have been out after 10.
Yeah.
I would have been like, oh, fuck. You guys hate me. Like, what's your worst bomb? I love a good bomb.
Oh, just trying to think. I bombed at a matinee in Yeppoon once.
Whoa.
So, actually, I was on... it was at, I think I've told this on here before, but it was like is that like a theater restaurant? So they do like a lot of like,
oh my God,
like,
yeah, you were set up for failure.
Yeah.
Did anyone do well?
Everyone but me did well.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah, but it was so funny because I think I like, so it was on tour and Daniel Holt was there and like I got up and he was MC and I was like, the guy's fucking lying to you. He's from Sydney. Like, he's not even English or whatever. And that was the only thing that kind of did well. And I just ate shit for the rest of it.
Oh. But that's not true, though, right? He's not...
Should I start a rumor that he's from Sydney?
Yeah.
No, he is English. Yeah.
Well, Daniel's very likable. Crowds love him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
and I'm very non-likable on stage.
You're a ranger.
I'm the heel of the comedy.
Yeah, they're like, ooh.
Yeah.
You were up against, the worst. Yeah. That's funny as fuck.
Yeah. I feel like there's something else I don't know. I've bombed with Limp Bizkit joke, but
what's the joke?
Oh, I don't really want to say it. It's so bad. It's so fucking. It's just Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, Limp Bizkit. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
Sometimes you have bombs and it happens.
Sometimes you bomb.
Sometimes you bomb.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to.
Yeah.
It's good for you. Bombing it. Have you done Fitzies?
Yes, I only did that recently, like a month ago.
Yeah, you go there to bomb. Like, you have to.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't know how to make my mouth work properly. Like, in the sense of, like, I can't structure a sentence properly sometimes. And then, so I just go to some gigs and I'm like, we'll just see how this comes out of my mouth. And then I'm like, I don't expect anything from it. And then when it's like, all right, that's okay, I can work on that now. What was I going to say? Another bomb that I've had. Oh yeah, so once me and Anissa were driving to Ballina, and I tell some pretty dark stuff, and I told like an abortion joke and like a Catholic joke, and I didn't realize that I had just turned them, like that they didn't like me anymore, like the whole crowd didn't like me anymore, and so I just doubled down, and they were like, they were just like, fuck you, get out. Like, it was so, and then we drove home and Anissa killed it, and she was like, that's so funny that they hated you and they loved me. And I was like, yeah, so painful. But yeah.
So when was that, like last year? Like,
no, that was this year.
Oh, this year. Okay. Do you think some gigs you can tell when you've lost the crowd?
Not that one, just because of how it was set up. I think because I was really above and I couldn't. I was like, I don't know, and it was a giant hall. Like I didn't really know what was happening. But yeah, now I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've cut a lot of those jokes out, even though I like those jokes. But a lot of people don't like those jokes. So, and then it kind of taints all my other jokes. So, but they're really funny. It's annoying because I'm not all the way like Shan. Like Shan, she has, you know, stick to her stuff. I'm kind of in between, so I can go either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find when those jokes are like, so if you do like one joke or you're halfway through a joke and you can tell the crowd's not into it, do you change? Like, do you go to like some lighter jokes then?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Or like my easy jokes that I know that will get a laugh and they'll like me again. Yeah. So I'm like, okay. But then sometimes you're like, fuck it.
I'm in it.
Yeah. I'm already here.
Yeah, I'm already here.
Yeah.
I haven't actually like, because I can tell when people aren't liking my jokes or whatever, but then, because they're not laughing. And then, but I don't know, I never actually go, oh, I'm just going to do this instead. I just stick to what I've kind of already planned.
Yeah. No, you should. You should try. I think it's just exercising different muscles.
Yeah.
Like, so, like what I was saying before, like not writing on your hand, it makes you better at when you forget a joke, you have to find your way back to it. So you kind of have to think on the fly. And if you're a naturally funny person, you'll be quite good at doing that. And you won't realize that you don't have to stick to a script and whatnot. And then you do well. But also another thing I notice is when you're bombing, anyone will pull back a bit.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, oh, they fucking hate me. So you pull back a bit. And they can feel that, like the audience can feel that, where you really have to just charge forward and be like, all right, like I'm here. Let's, you know, I'm not going to go down with it, like, because they can feel when you pull back.
Yeah.
Do you find that?
Yeah, actually, Gong Show. We did Gong Show together a month ago. And I started with a joke about like just off the top, started with a joke about the MC because he had like also ginger hair. So I was like, oh, I look like his before and after.
Who was the...
Billy Darcy.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I look like his mugshot or whatever. And just did not like get any laughs. So like I started... Because I started like on a real awkward foot. So just like that energy... just tracked for the rest of it.
And you're really going to climb your way back.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck, like they already don't trust me. Yeah. Now I have to work even harder. I mean, so I used to do like off the cuff stuff at the start of my set. And then sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah. And then that was a really fun night.
For some.
For those who won.
For those who won. Oh, yeah, you won that. Yeah.
I didn't realise it was a money prize either. Yeah. So that was...
Because you're like ready to go home. You're like...
Yeah, I was tired. It was like late. It was a late show.
Yeah.
What was happening that night? It was an audience, like, bass competition.
Yeah.
And no one was playing... What I remember, no one was playing to the audience. And I was like, I just got to get them to like me. And then, so I just said a bunch of dumb shit. That was a fun gig. I had lots of fun that night. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah. The gong shows and stuff are interesting. Have you ever done like Buzz Off?
No.
Yeah, that's like a Brisbane kind of, like, because the gong show I think is usually done in Perth.
Yeah, it is.
So that was like, when they get like 3 plates or whatever, that's when you can get gonged off.
Yeah. Don't they have like an official gong though at the actual gong show? Like the plates aren't legit. I thought that was just a good chat thing, right?
I've never been to a legit one, so I don't know.
Neither do I.
Yeah, I don't know. But I think that gig made me go, okay, next time I do one of those shows, I just need to like be more like, I don't know, spontaneous and like maybe play with the crowd. Like just kind of...
But weren't you spontaneous and you ate shit?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when I first started, like I still do it now. I have to make them laugh straight away.
Yeah.
So I can gauge where I'm at. And then I'm like, okay, cool. Now I can fuck around a little bit. But then I see people that I really love do stand up and like the first minute or so no laughs and I'm like, come on, do something. And it's like, no, they know they'll get their laughs. Like they don't need to like wait, like do it in the first beginning. Like even when I saw Doug Stanhope, did you see him?
Yeah, I was there for that. Yeah.
And for the first like 5 minutes he was just chilling, he wasn't,
yeah, and
I was like, let's go. And he's like, that time will come, like he can.
It's so funny because I remember being there, I'm like, okay, like, and then it just, then it just took off and it was like great.
Yeah, it was amazing. But also who are we to like question a like professional? I'm like,
I've been doing open mics for a year, okay?
I was like, such an idiot. I was like, oh, what is he doing? Like, and then halfway through I was dying. That was such a great gig. But even like people in the scene that you watch, and you're like, they'll get there. They don't need to worry. But I guess maybe you don't have that confidence yet.
Yeah.
To trust that it'll be okay. Yeah.
I think some experienced comics like fighting the crowd too. They like kind of getting them off their side to try and win them back. I think it's just like I guess when you get to that stage, you're just like, I can do whatever. I can just fuck around now and just challenge myself. And
guess the biggest person who does that, Jack Knight. Like, he really turns like, fuck, he's funny. I haven't seen him for a while. Jack or Damien Power.
Yeah, Damien does it a lot. Yeah.
I never know if Damien's joking or not though, when he's doing it. I'm like, is he for real or is But yeah.
Yeah, actually, with that Gong Show that night, straight after you're like to me, you're like, don't start with a joke you don't know will do well. and then I'm like. And then you're like, run it by someone first. I'm like, okay, I'll run it by you next.
Yeah. Also, who do I think I am doling out advice? Like I'm no one. But I think it's just when you first start, you have no idea.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, like, but you are just like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
And I mean, I still have no idea. And it's, you only figure it out as you go, I guess. But I've done that so many times. Like, wait, do you reckon it's funny if I start with this? And people are like, no. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
It's funny because I did that because I did a gig with you a few weeks before, I think, at Sit Down, where you were on right before me. So I came out and I was like, oh, I'm Rachel's stunt double. And that did really well. So I was like, oh, I'll just do a similar thing. And it did not do well. But,
I mean, who knows? Yeah, you can do the exact same set and eat shit and kill, so no one knows. Yeah.
And back to like the confidence thing too, that sit down night, you also gave me feedback. No.
I'm just looking out for fellow writers.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But no, you said something that was really interesting where it was like because I knew the Rachel line the stunt double thing would do well. And you're like, that confidence you had when you said that, whole set.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, like.
Yeah. But that's probably something I had to figure out as well, where that people told me. And I was like, fuck, if someone just told me sooner, I would have been doing the right thing. Where, it's a confidence thing and people, I nearly said patience because I'm a nurse, audiences feel it. Like when you back off, they're like, all right, fuck yeah. But when you're like, no, I got this. Like you sit down, I'll tell my jokes and you'll listen and it'll work out well. And they're like, yep. Like, you know what I mean? So confidence does help. Sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't. Like, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think, actually with like the confidence stuff, do you think having stuff written on your hand can break the attention from the audience? Like if you're quickly sliding?
No, but you just reminded me of this funny story. I don't think so, because sometimes you're doing well and then you're like, okay, you guys are going to let me get away with what I want. So if I just quickly check my hand, you guys don't care because you like me so far and you trust that I'm going to take you in the right direction. So you're like, what else I got? And then like sometimes I go, what else I got? Done that. Like I repeat my jokes back and they're like, ha. And then I'll try something new. Yep. One time, me and Fideli from Sit Down were watching Meg Yeager and she's so cute and tiny and she was doing her set. I think about this all the time. It's so funny. She wrote on her hand and she's telling a joke. She's in character. She's like, and then she's like, da 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 da, and like keeps going. And it was so quick that you could barely see it, but it was so funny to watch her be like, and then like, but yeah, I used to, other comedians used to make fun of me for writing on my hands, and that's why I stopped doing it. Yeah.
Because I did a gig where I was doing really well. And then I checked my hand. And it's funny because I feel like with me at least, by the time I've checked my hand, I've actually remembered.
Yeah.
Like I've actually like, I'm like, oh, I already remember now.
Yeah.
And but I was, sorry?
You thought that it broke it? Like the momentum?
Well, someone afterwards was like, told me, they're like, oh, when you did that, it broke the momentum of your set. So that's just what, and they're like, so after that, like I just like write my order like on a piece of paper and have it in my pocket so I know it's there.
It's more the security.
Yeah, it's a security thing. So you can be like, you can pull it out and still make a joke, be like, oh, shopping list or whatever.
Yeah.
And then and at least you know it's there. It's a security thing. Like I've never actually, like, I always have, we all do, like, have a set list of some sort on us, but, like, I never actually look at it, but it's just a good security to have.
I hate when you're doing well and you're like, I could get away with anything, and then you don't do new jokes. You're like, that would have been the time. Like,
the other night, when I was doing Guilt-Free Cellar, like, it was, like, packed. And then I said to someone, I was like, I was going to do new jokes tonight, but now I'm nervous. And, like, fucking do it anyway. And then I did. And then I was, like, really glad because that's when you're going to get the best feedback. Yeah, for sure. So. Yeah. I hate when you do it in, like, you do a new joke in, like, a room that you know is kind. And then it doesn't do well. You're like, oh, well, that must be a piece of shit. Then. Like, I will never do that again. Like, so you got to just gauge it. And then you turn it over. I think Ting Lim told me she tries a new joke in 5 different rooms or 5 times or something like that before she ditches it. Yeah. Yeah. And then I was like, that's good advice. Yeah. Yeah. Well, so do you have, like, how many times do you think... But with a new joke, how many times do you try it out before you, like, change it up, or do you change it after the first time? It depends how much I believe in the joke and, like, want to actually talk about it, because sometimes some things just don't need to be said, like it, or it's just not needed, and I'm going to put more time and effort into something that's not really that important. Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. It depends, because sometimes, like, one night it'll do well, next night it won't, then it will again. Then you're like, what do I do with this? So if I like it, I'll keep it. If I like it and it sucks, I'll let it go. But it doesn't take me long to. Then recently I was eating shit on this joke, and I was like, why can't I figure out what it is? And then I just added one more line, and it was fine. Or I moved like a whole block to the front of my set, and the joke that wasn't doing well at all now is doing very well. And I was like, what the fuck? Sometimes it might also be like the crowd just doesn't understand it. Like there might be like a bit of context missing to like a piece of the puzzle to make it make sense, I guess. Yeah. I find it so funny that sometimes you'll just go do a gig to see if like 5 words work better than how they did the night before. And you're like, I've just wasted like an hour of my night just to see if 5 words were different than they were last night. But it's so satisfying when that does happen. And like you rotate it around in your head and until you get the right bit. That fine. I don't know. I love that bit of it. Yeah. How long do you feel you were doing comedy before like you found your voice or like your style and stuff? Or did you pretty much have a style like off the get-go? I don't even think I had a style. I thought I was just being me. I don't even know if I have a style now. Like, do you feel like you have a style? Well, that's for me. I think I'm at a point where I'm like, do I need a style? Like, I think you do to do well. Yeah. Like, and I say that from someone being like, I don't know what I am, but like people who are niche, they tend to do better, right? Or, I don't know. I still don't know if I've found my style. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm good. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, who knows? One night I'm like, yeah, and then the next night I'm like, no. Like, I just like it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out like, because I guess like style, like even characters and stuff. Most of it's just like an amplified version of ourselves. Yeah, like for sure. Unless people who fully change who they are. Yeah. I'm trying to think of someone where you're like, you're not the same person on stage and off stage, but I can't think of anyone off the top of my head. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because even some people that you think might be like a character, you meet them and like, oh, that's just them kind of thing too. So. Yeah. And I think audiences, they know when you're being genuine or not. And they can kind of smell it. And you're like, so when you go out of who you are, they're like, but I don't know, different rules for different things. Yeah. And sometimes like audience can also pick up on like, oh, that's doesn't suit you kind of thing. Like I used to tell a joke about like putting a go-kart in a swingers party kind of thing. And the joke is because I don't have a license. But a lot of people will be, because it's just... Does that get laughs? Because I find that really funny. It gets laughs, but I think it's still also like loses the crowd a little bit because it's just doesn't seem authentic because it's like you've just talked about being in a video game store and all this shit, and now you're being like, oh, swingers
now
party.
Swingers parties.
Yeah.
But is that the card thing? Isn't it a bowl of keys?
Yeah, a bowl of keys. So it'd be like, oh, I don't have car keys. I don't have car keys, so all I have is a go card.
I still found that really funny. I think that's really good, but it doesn't do well.
I think it's just one of those things. It does well, but I've just had other people say like, oh, it doesesn't suit you or whatever. So.
I think it suits you for sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. You look like a dude who would go to swingers parties.
And I think it's also funny
but be a loser while you're there. Like,
yeah. And it's funny because it's just like, and the way I say it, it's like a single guy going to like a swingers party too. And I think maybe that context maybe breaks the joke a bit.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to take your imaginary girlfriend.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I don't really know much about swingers parties.
Neither do I.
Well, I don't think anyone does.
Yeah.
No, but I think we all have a general concept.
Yeah,
of
and I think that's like probably the best premise for a joke because it's like, oh, well, people know, like, have a general idea. They're not going to be like, oh, you got this wrong.
Yeah. You fucked up. That's not how we're doing it.
Yeah. There's passwords and stuff too. You
You don't know what we do in the swinger community. Like, how dare you?
But disrespect that community.
Don't misrepresent us. I don't know. No, I think that's funny. I like that.
Yeah, cool.
It's smart. But yeah.
Also, so we're talking about how like getting rid of jokes. We never really get rid of them though. Like we just kind of like some ideas you're like, okay, I just don't have anything that works for this now. And you probably like archive it, and then maybe a year later be like, oh, that's the bit that was missing. Like, do you think has that happened with you?
Totally, yeah. So you should write everything down. Yeah, for sure. And then there's some jokes that you come back to because you love them, and there's some jokes you get over.
Yeah.
And then some jokes you need to have them because you know they'll do well. Yeah, or like you piece them together. Heaps. Like you're like, oh, this one links up with this one now. Like little bits just do everything. I let go of a lot of my dark. Oh, I say that, but I still tell heaps of dark jokes. I'm trying to not write as many dark jokes.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess like with open mic, there's all like, oh, well, you do a lot of paid spots though. Like, do you think the paid spots are a bit different to like? So I mostly do open mic, where you can only kind of do so much.
Really, I feel like you could do anything. It's an open mic. You don't owe anyone anything.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Fuck it.
For me, because I think
it depends who's watching.
Yeah.
If that's
yeah,
and then do well at like your paid stuff. Yeah, I remember saying once to a guy who booked me, I'm like, I think I'm going to do new. He's like, not while you're getting paid, you're not. I was like, fair enough. Like, I'm back to the open mics.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So.
Oh, no, I just mean like, because I think, because a lot of, like, you can lose crowds by doing heaps of dark material. And that's where, like, you'd probably put the dark material, like, in the middle or towards the end of your set, right?
Yeah. I had like a Catholic joke where I did it in front of a guy who booked me. I think it was him. And he was like, if you're going to do a joke like that, put it at the end and get off stage. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. Like, say it and get out of there. And I'm like, all right, fair enough. Don't like, because you can't come back from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just linger in.
Yeah. Just like, all right, what else? I think you could do what you want at open mics.
Yeah.
Like,
I think...
You know what I think a lot of open mic people or new people in comedy do that I did the opposite of? You're always trying new sets, and I don't think that's not how I did it.
Yeah.
I stuck with, and it's probably like a weakness as well, I stuck with the same set, the same 5 minutes for weeks, months. Like sometimes I wouldn't write, so years. No. Like, and I just made it better each time I did it. And then I'd get so bored of the joke. I'd be like, fuck this fucking joke. So I had to add something new to it. But each time I told it, it got better and better and better. So that's like, but people change all the time.
Yeah.
I don't think you should do that. I think you should work on the thing. And then you're like, cool, my 5 is perfect. And now my 10 is perfect. Like you can't, there's no, what are you looking at?
I was checking time.
Oh, what is the time? Oh, wow. Really
We're going for 44 minutes. I was trying to be like real, and I was like, I can't read those fucking numbers. I was trying to be like real sly with it. You're like, what are you doing?
The Ranger on Ranger looks so good though.
Yeah, I've just mirrored the screen.
Yeah. I just realized I've been slouching this whole time. So I think you should, that's what I did, just perfected my 5 minutes. I probably hung on to it for too long, but still, Yeah. Do you do new every time?
No, so yeah, that's when like I get in like ruts where I think I'm like, oh, there's like, I'll be like, I'm keen to do new, and then I'll be like, oh, that room runner's there, or like I get real like nervous about like when other comedians and stuff are there too, and like I write a lot of stuff, but I kind of need to rehearse it before I'm comfortable with doing it on stage.
That's super normal. Yeah.
But then I'm just not rehearsing it, so I'm not. I don't know. I've been like, so when I started in Mackay, I was like pushing myself to do new stuff, like at least 1 or 2 new jokes every time, because it's like the same type of people coming.
Sure.
And it's like once a month, so I can kind of be like, okay, by next month I'll have this. So I was like working under like pressure and deadlines. That was good. But then I moved to Brisbane. Because when I was at Mackay, I think I had like 2 separate 5s. Yeah. They weren't great, but like, and that's what I see.
Why didn't
like,
you just smush all the goodness of the 2?
Well, that's what I've done.
Okay.
Yeah. When I come here, I was like, oh, well, that part's good. And, that's what I've kind of done. But I've noticed that with like newer people too, is that they'll be like, oh, I have a new 5. And I'm like, you've done like 9 gigs. Like, just flesh
you ain't got shit. I ain't got shit. Like,
it's just like, and that's like now that I've been doing it for a year or whatever, then I'm like, oh, because I had the same mentality. You get excited. You're like, oh, I have new stuff to present to people. But it's like, you can throw new stuff in there. Yeah. But also just tweak what you have.
Were you saying like you get nervous about other comedians in the room because you're worried that they're like, you're doing the same bit?
No. Oh, okay. No, I'm just like, worried about bombing. If I'm like have a new joke I want to test out.
Everyone bombs. Like literally everyone bombs.
Yeah.
Liz, I think as soon as you just get it over with, just bomb. Like have you seen I can't think of the name. Dying Laughing or Laughing Dying or something like that?
No.
Oh my God, it's so good. It's like all these professional comedians and they're telling their worst bombing story. You got to watch it. I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
And I don't want to like say it and ruin bits for people, but people talk about their worst bombs where one guy's crying.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, no, but you'll see it and you'll be like, I think I would have cried too. Like that is a bad bomb. Yeah. Like, and it happens to everyone. Like that's just human nature to be like, feel rejected. Like, of course you're going to feel like shit, but you're not going to get any better unless you eat shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool. Are you done with the uni stuff? Have you finished studying?
Yep. Yeah, I've finished studying. I have to apply. Well, I have applied, but I'm just waiting on all my paperwork to go through. So yeah, God, I hated studying. I hate study so fucking much, and it took away from what I actually wanted to do. But I was like, if I just knuckle down, I can get through this and then come back to comedy. But it was annoying because I was on a good, and then it's like you dip a bit, you come back and What was the second half of that question that I interrupted? You're like, have you finished studying?
I think I was just going to ask what, so does that mean now that you've finished studying, are you like going to, is it full gear with into comedy now?
I hope so. Yeah. I feel like my goals have changed. Like they used to, when I first started, I was like, I want to do this room in Brisbane. And then I did all the rooms and I was like, cool, done. And now my next goal was this. And then my next goal is this. Now my goal is I just want to write really well. Like I'm so impressed when people are great writers. Like that's all I want to do. Like you can only do well if you write well. So that's all I want. I want to write well. Yeah, that's it. And go.
So I was going to say, how do you measure that as a goal?
How many laughs you get, I guess. Well,
yeah.
And I guess how much writing you do, like churning through all your bullshit to get to one nugget of anything.
Yeah.
That maybe might do well. Yeah. And just kind of see how it goes. Yeah. I probably should have goals in place. No, I've got some.
Yeah, you've got goals.
I got goals.
Got goals.
They're here. They're coming. They're around. But also I just want to have fun as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Are you working towards a show, your first solo show or anything?
No, but I absolutely should be.
Are you doing any Good Chat Festival stuff this year? You did the split last year?
I feel like I don't have enough stuff to do. But I definitely do. And no, I'm not doing anything yet.
Have you done any like the Adelaide Fringes or?
I've been there and I've done like little spots, but nothing like, you know, like actually putting on a show and stuff. But I absolutely should. I should be doing that. But I feel nervous talking about it. Like, do you? Like, if I was like, what have you got planned? Do you have plans?
Yeah, I've only recently I'm like, okay, I've been doing it for a year. I need to like actually like start setting like goals for myself, because it's like I get caught in like the self-doubt thing of like, oh, I don't think I have like good enough material to do like a 15 split or whatever. So I'm doing a split with Daniel Neville and Josh Gattino at Good Chat in September. So that'll be like the first split show I've done.
Oh my gosh.
And then we want to do...
Can you say what it's called?
Yeah, silly little stories.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
I love that.
We're silly and stuff. We're some silly boys.
Silly little stories. Yeah.
And then Daniel and I want to do Adelaide Fringe.
Okay,
so then
cool.
I'm like, okay, now I need to work up to 25.
Yeah.
So that's where like I've started writing and stuff, and now like working on doing, like forcing myself. Like now I have goals and like... Yeah. And deadlines and stuff. I'm like, okay. And that's what I work. And I guess anyone would work better under. So
pressure, yeah.
Pressure and stuff. So
everybody does.
So yeah, I need to like, because the last year I feel like I've just like done the thing of like stuck to basically the same 5. I've switched stuff in and out, and I've found like what works the best out of all the jokes I have for that 5. But yeah, I just need to be trying more stuff.
Yeah. I guess that's everyone though. Everyone needs to just try new stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I should write more. Everyone should.
Yeah.
But particularly me.
Yeah.
Don't you hate when you think of a funny bit? You're like, that's great. I'll remember that. And then you're like, fuck. Like,
yeah, or you write it in your phone notes, but you don't give enough context. So you're like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
Like,
what did you even mean by that?
Why did I write DJs there?
Yeah.
Like, I had something about them, but...
I write the one full sentence now.
Yeah,
where I'm
I've
like,
started doing
okay.
that too.
And then, but you know what's worse than that? When you come back and you're like, that's a piece of shit.
Yeah, you're like, what was I thinking? Like,
yeah, was I drunk when I was like, hilarious? Like, and then you do it on stage and you're like, oh no, like terrible. Yeah.
Especially if it's like something you said in a conversation.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're like, oh my God, that was fucking hilarious. And then it kind of works for that conversation. You're like, oh, it's not really anything on its own.
Yeah. No, a lot of my stuff is from conversations and life. And you just kind of make it work. Mm-hmm. You put it in somehow. I wish I was better at making stuff up. Like Angus Gordon, I assume he makes all of his stories up. Like he's got such a wild imagination.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, it has to be true. Like,
well, that's another thing I'm caught in as well. Like a lot of my stuff is like stories or from conversations as well. But I don't really have that thing where I can be like, I've tweaked things to make it make sense. But I've never really been like, and then this wild thing, like I don't really make stuff up either. Yeah. And I'm like, recently I was like, should I start doing that? Yes. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, didn't you write with Angus?
Yes. Yeah, I did.
And what was that like?
It was really good.
Yeah.
There was a bit, so I'm working on a bit about being a leash kid. And and he was...
Were you actually a leash kid?
Yeah, I was.
How old were you?
Like 5 or 6, I think.
I actually reckon they should bring leashes back.
Yeah.
Don't you?
For adults or?
No, for kids. Like, how do you keep an eye on your kid? We thought that was inhumane, but I get it. Like, anyway, continue.
But yeah, and so I had a joke about, there was a certain joke I had about it, and he was like, wait. What the fuck is with this leash kid? Like, he kind of, like, I had a joke that, like, kind of briefly acknowledged it, but he was like, tell me more about you being a kid with a leash.
Oh, my God.
So I think sometimes it's also good when, like, writing with people for them to be like, what the fuck is with that? To, like, kind of giving a different perspective
How
to
did
it.
you know you were a leash kid? You remember it?
I remember it.
I don't remember anything from my childhood.
Really?
Yeah. Drama. No. But yeah, I wouldn't remember being 5 or 6 or whatever. Like,
something you don't forget.
Do you I wonder if that's like integrated your life now?
Yeah, like I would have been like
dominatrix.
It's just like it's a split timeline where like I could have been like a lawyer or something, and I'm just like living in a share house and open mic.
Yeah, I could have been anything if it wasn't for the damn leash.
Fucking leash
holding me back.
I could have ran in front of a car.
Yeah, like
that would have changed the timeline a lot.
It's horrible. Yeah, we wouldn't be here right now. I can't believe you're a leash kid.
Yeah, like sorry to break it to you and everyone else listening to you.
Every day on the leash.
I don't think it was not every day. Every day we need to go to the shops, maybe. Yeah. That's how you know you've got a good premise, is when you're just like, yeah, I'm a leash, and they're just like, you've already got them.
Did you used to listen to Freak on a Leash by Korn?
I still do.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you have you like metal and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hardcore music?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You listen to that stuff as well, right?
No, I just look like I do.
Well, recently you're like, oh, you listen to this band, or like some Norwegian like garage metal band, like Optimus Prime or something?
No, because they've got some fat bass in their songs, and I used to play bass. And
okay,
you know that one song that what is this? One song. Oh, my hair. Or yours?
No, it's yours. Every other guest is like, it's definitely yours, but
I also
at
have
least
a stain on my skirt. Yeah, we're in the share house. What were we talking about?
Talking about you being into metal.
Oh, no, I like rap, but I've hung out with a lot of people that like metal. So like,
I associate with them.
Look, I'm adjacent to the metal, people. I'm aware of you guys. Yeah, but no, not really.
Yeah,
I used to go to a lot of hardcore shows, like Australian.
Yeah, like D's Nuts and those type of bands.
Yeah. Oh, who was my favorite? Fuck, they were good. Wishlist? No, Blacklisted.
No,
I don't know. I could be completely wrong. They always have weird names that you can't read, and
Yeah.
Anyway, continue. We don't need to talk about metal.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Different podcast.
Yeah.
I guess so. I guess it probably already addressed. Like,
what's next for
What's
me?
next for you? Yeah.
And gigging, doing lots more gigs, and then I think if you this is my opinion. I could be completely wrong. If you just do well, work hard, and then see what comes up. Yeah. Make some goals along the way. I think it's been really hard the past 2 years. I was so focused on my studies, and then I always go to fall back into the trap of my career of what I do for work. And I have to be like, no, that's, that runs itself. It's time to focus on something you enjoy doing. So yeah, just keep gigging, writing more, traveling, seeing what happens. I definitely should do a solo show. I think about it all the time, and then I'm like, nah. You know when it's like a dream that you're like, I could never have that, or something, which is so dumb. But yeah, taking the plunge a little bit more is probably a goal coming up. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And where can people find you?
At haha.hornbuckle. Should I change it to haha.huckleberry?
Yeah.
Maybe I will this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
A rebrand.
Yeah, rebrand. She's coming out. What are you going to do later today?
After this? I think I'm just chilling out.
Yeah, me too.
Just chilling out.
It's a Sunday.
Yeah. Especially on the 9 to 5, Monday to Friday.
Do you have a 9 to 5?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What is it?
I do admin stuff.
Oh, God. I hate admin.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck that. All right, cool.
I like it.
You like admin?
I like it, yeah. It's good.
What do you like about admin?
I get to listen to podcasts.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah. I can't do that.
Up until moving to Brisbane last year, I never worked in retail. So
yeah,
look, I'm a corporate slime bag now, and I'm happy with it.
Don't give a shit. Yeah. Retail is a whole different. Fuck, I've worked in retail.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I remember once. Sorry, we are wrapping this up. But I remember once I worked in a shoe store, and someone took a high heel because I wasn't paying her attention. Took a high heel and stabbed my butt with it. And she's like, I'm trying to get your attention. I was like, that's not how you. What the fuck? Like, retail's crazy.
Yeah, it's fucking
wild. What retail?
Wild.
Where did you work?
I worked at a video EB Games and that type of stuff. Yeah. I've done quite a few retail jobs. Reject shop.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I probably have a few stories from that.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Do you remember, how old are you?
I'm 26. Almost 27.
Do you remember Crazy Clarks?
Yes.
Oh my God. Fuck, that was good. Anyway, okay, so people can find me at haha.hornbuckle on Instagram.
Yeah. Cool.
All right.
Sweet. Thanks for coming.
That's all right. Bye.
Right, bye.